Hey guys, it's Tommeh, and here I am with...
Dr. Popcorn's Burger.
And today we are going to be talking about another sort of debate or just topic of discussion about ToonTown, which honestly we've just been discussing for quite a while now, and it is how to balance the game of ToonTown. A lot of people complain mostly that the game is a bit too easy, just because, like, really once you get to 100 laugh, it's really difficult to die, and there are quite a few players who actually go through the entire game without dying at all. Like, you've been through that, right, Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, like, you don't really die a lot moving up through the game. I mean, maybe a little bit early on when you're like 15 laugh, but you know, if you have strong gags and you do cog battles with 4 people, which is the max, obviously, you're probably not going to die as long as everyone isn't an idiot, you know, if they kind of know what they're doing. And like, yeah, I mean, when I play the game, I rarely die as I'm moving my way up, and I mean, occasionally die like doing like a solo or trying to do something I'm not ready for. But I mean, it's certainly not very difficult of a game.
Yeah, I feel you. Oh, and by the way, just a disclaimer. Before you guys accuse me of hacking for having a 137 laugh black horse, this is ToonTown Offline. I'm not on TTR, okay? So, yeah, don't accuse me of hacking. But basically, just kind of going off of what Anthony said, like, it's a pretty easy game as it is, and there's really a lot of ways that it could be nerfed, or it could be buffed, rather, just to make it kind of an easier experience, or a harder experience, wow. But yeah, so we just want to kind of cover a couple of topics that would help kind of balance the game, or just make it a little more consistent with how the game flows, because, you know, it's really not a very difficult game all throughout. So we split it up into a bunch of different categories, and the first category that we're going to talk about is one way that we would make the game a little bit harder, which would be to weaken some gag tracks. Now, we took a look at the gag tracks, and we found that, honestly, the ones that are probably fine are Trap, Drop, and Throw and Squirt. But the ones that we probably would change are Sound, Lure, and Tune-Up. Anthony, you want to start with, like, Sound and Tune-Up?
But yeah, so Tune-Up, way overpowered. It does way too much. They should probably nerf that. You know, I don't know, at least 20 points or so. So, like, maybe Pixie Dust only does 50. Juggling balls, you know, maybe do like 30 for each tune. Just something to make it like not so easy to heal back up once you get low. And as for sound is game breaking, as we all know. Most people, once they max and get Foghorn, and they're just like doing their offices and ball battles, they just sound through if they can. So much to the point that a lot of times people won't go with other people if they don't have sound. And I mean, I don't really think that's how the game was meant to be. You know, I mean, I understand there's a lot of grinding and everything, and not having sound can be pretty annoying. That's another thing, probably another video topic that we could probably talk about, but that's not what this video is about. But yeah, I mean, sound definitely does way too much. You can defeat every single cog in the game with 3 foghorns and an awooga. Aside from version 2.0 cogs, which, I mean, obviously will live, but you'll defeat their first shell. So, I mean, and every tune gets 3 of those, so, I mean, you can defeat 4 sets of level 12s with 4 max sound tunes. So, I mean, sound definitely is overpowered. I don't know how much to weaken it by. I'd have to look at the numbers a little more. But, yeah, combine that with possibly, well, we'll get into the cog.
Yeah.
Laugh, or whatever you want to call it, HP. We'll get into that later, but yeah, I mean, sound's definitely game breaking, definitely should be lowered, and tune-up should definitely be lowered as well.
Yeah, and honestly, just kind of going off of what he said, it's just that, like, tune-up, I personally see as the gag that's kind of just there to cover your ass if you screw up. Like,
yeah.
You really shouldn't need to use tune-up if you play properly, and because honestly, like, running out of gags, maybe early in the game that's an issue when you don't have a lot of gags.
Right.
But later in the game, like, that's not really something you should need to worry about. And
shit,
my wedding cake just missed. But yeah, that shouldn't really be something you have to worry about. So lowering tune-up, honestly, that would just, like, kind of force you to play more carefully, and so that the game, yeah, Because people like low tunes, they're like, oh, it's okay if I play badly or get hit. Like we can just restore, you know, 2/3 of our health with one attack. And that, just honestly, if you want to get people to play smarter, like you gotta screw up more. And the only way you can screw up is basically by dying.
And another thing I think, that, you know how in like some games you have to do, like you can't always heal yourself. You have to sometimes, like, I don't know, you have to do something, like maybe inflict a certain amount of damage before you're allowed to use tune-up. I don't know how that would work in ToonTown. But I don't know, I just feel like maybe restricting how often you can tune up. I don't know if that would work, but I mean that would be one option.
Yeah.
Just to go off of your point about like not needing tune-up, I'd say the only instances that you would need tune-up if everyone knows how to play is if, you know, if Gags miss. Like say you're facing 4 level 11 minglers and lore misses and you're not able to defeat them all, and then they all paradigm shift 24 each. I mean that's really not a lot, but I guess say maybe you got like a low left, an Uber, like a 45, I don't know, I'm just making up something, 45 left Uber, and, well, maybe not 45, like, I don't know, I was thinking like just 24 from 45, so like, any tune, 100 Laugher, you know, they get paradigm shift, now they're down to 4 left, you know, you need tune-up then. I mean, if Gags hits and everyone knows what they're doing, tune-up really should never need to be used. I mean, like Tommy said, for newer players, you know, when they're learning, progressing through the game, Gags aren't maxed. Yeah, then I mean it's useful. But once you're maxed, it's like it's just there. It's just there. You don't.
Yeah, like for deficiency and skill, honestly, like you shouldn't. That's a useless use of tune-up. But like, if you know you get unlucky and your shit misses, like yeah, I guess like that's a fine time to use tune-up because I mean it's whatever. Like there's nothing you could have done. Like that's just RNG doing its magic. But anyway, yeah, just saying one last thing about sound. If you were to lower the sound damage of every sound gag by maybe 25%, that would throw off the entire system. Because honestly, like, people are just so used to using the certain values of, like, sound gags just to, like, kill certain levels of cogs that it would just screw everything up. And that would really be an interesting thing to watch. So anyway, I think we should move on to lure. Now, lure is an interesting subject because I personally was able to think of 3 ways in which it could be nerfed. You could either lower the accuracy, make them lured for less rounds, or have the knockback damage be less. And what the fuck? For some reason...
I'm not watching your screen, so I don't know what's happening.
I don't know, this one cog right here is like weirdly short. I think it's a penny pincher, but I can't be sure. But anyway, honestly, I think lure is easily the most OP soundtrack in the game, or gag track in the game, just because like you can make cogs stop attacking you with like an 80% accuracy later in the game, and they don't stop attacking you for just one turn. They stop attacking you for like a solid, you know, like 4 turns or even 15 turns for a presentation, which is bullshit. Like that shouldn't ever be a thing. So I mean, it's just like I don't understand that. You want to say something about that?
No, I was just gonna continue, like, you know, going off what you said. You were doing fine. I just thought you were.
Go ahead, dude.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I completely agree with what you're saying. You know, lore, it's definitely overpowered. You know, less accuracy. You know, that might just get annoying. But it would make the game more challenging. I personally, based on what we talked about, I like less knockback because I mean, I can't remember the exact numbers on it because I haven't played a bunch, but what is it like? What do you get for knockback? Like half? You get half.
Yeah, it's half damage.
I thought so. And then you combine that with, you know, if 2 people use throw, and then you get the bonus for, you know, same gag track. I don't know what it is, but I mean it adds up pretty easily, and you can kill a cog like 2 or 3 times over if you lure and use 3 birthday cakes on it. I mean, it's like it's definitely way too much.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think the knockback should be dropped down, maybe like 50%, 25-50%, because you think about so say you lure a cog and use a max birthday cake, then that would do 125. What would that kill?
That would kill level
That
9.
would kill level 9. Yeah, I mean,
And honestly, that's fair. Like that would make
that's one level less. And,
yeah.
yeah. I don't know. Just something to think about. Less rounds also. I'd say don't mess with the accuracy. Just less rounds and less knockback. That's personally what I think would be better. Just because the accuracy would probably get really annoying.
Yeah. The accuracy, I think that is more fair. Just because like it is a pretty crucial part to it. Like,
yeah. Because then you'd be tuning up like crazy.
Because yeah, like each gag is supposed to have its purpose, and you're supposed to like expect it to work most of the time.
Right.
And if you lower the accuracy, because it's like vital in a game like this, you know, if you have the gags, like even though they're pretty strong as they are, like without lure, literally it's really, really difficult to complete the game unless you have like a shit ton of rewards or unites. Or a lot of teamwork. So
And a
yeah,
lot of skill.
yeah, I agree with everything you said, man. I feel like we should move on from here. So the next point we kind of want to cover is Cogs, actually. And we have 3 separate points to cover about that. So the first one's a pretty basic one. We're just going to talk about if there were higher leveled or stronger Cogs out there. And personally, I think if you had stronger Cogs out there, like if you raised the health and the damage of all the Cogs, that actually would make for a good challenge. But then again, you wouldn't really want to nerf lure that much more, just because you would want to be able to kill like Cogs within at least 1 or 2 hits. And honestly, I think if you had like higher health Cogs, like lure left, kill right would probably be the most viable strategy in basically every situation. Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, you would continue to have like a similar strategy. I don't know, sounding might, I don't know, depending on how much you increased it by, might still be something you would do.
Well,
but
yeah, I was actually, I just thought of that. Like, sounding would really be a lot less viable because, like, if you have, you know, if you raise the Cogs health by like 50% each, then like sounding, like level 12s or level 11s,
300. No, but
I was gonna say level 11s would have like 225 health. You could barely even kill those with 4 fogs.
right. And then the level 12s you couldn't kill, so you would pretty much be forced to, unless you want to sound through twice. You'd be forced to lure and then kill. I mean, and with all the gags as they are, you know, lure, then you throw you throw a birthday cake and a few cream pies. I'm assuming it would probably kill a 300, just off the top of my head without doing the math. I'd say more V2 Cogs would also be useful, not just in Boss Fight HQ, like at more areas throughout the game. I know they've done like V2 invasions with other Cogs, like TTR has. And then another point, I don't know, we didn't really talk about this, but it just made me think of a point. I mean, obviously, like for some of the earlier battles, like Cellbody, like the VP, CFO, I don't know how many V2 Cogs you want to include because they're kind of like the weaker bosses. But one thing that I think might be good for that is like you keep the easy version and then you have like an advanced version for like all higher tunes that know what they're doing. And in that version you have like more V2 Cogs and I don't know, just more of a challenge because, you know, for all max tunes or for, you know, mostly max tunes, VP, CFO, even CJ, really not a challenge. I mean, CEO is because of the V2 Cogs, so I think maybe like a more advanced version of bosses would also be something that could help balance the game a little bit.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool too. It's because, like, kind of just taking a point that you just said, once you hit 63 laugh or like 61 laugh and you have access to all 6 gag tracks that you can max your gags, and considering that you really don't need tune-up if you use good strategy, like, you can basically tackle anything in the game, because the max level is 12, and you're going to see level 12s by then. Mm-hmm. So really, it's just so much less of a challenge at that point that it's not even funny. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so anyway, getting a little more into detail about stronger Cogs. Now, when you look at the 4 Cog types, some more kind of generalist players would say, oh, they're pretty even, they're pretty balanced, like they all have similar attacks, and like they can just do whatever they do. But the thing is, Lawbots and Cashbots are pretty balanced, whereas Cellbots are really, really powerful, and Bossbots are actually pretty weak. And the reason for this is because of group attacks. Oh my god, and I still have speed on. So, the reason for this, the group attacks that Cellbots have, if you look at all the Cellbot Cogs, basically, like, almost every Cellbot has some sort of group attack, or is just really strong in general. For example, like, you take a look at Minglers and Mr. Hollywood's, like, they each have Power Trip, and the Minglers have Paradigm Shift. Whereas the only... Oh, and Mover and Shakers are ridiculously strong, too. Whereas you look at the Boss Bots, and the only Cog that has any sort of group attack in the entire Boss Bot track is the Yes Man with Synergy.
And it's a weak Cog in general. It's only 3rd stage, so...
Yeah.
So it's damage total. Well, I don't know if you know off the top of your head, but it's not even close to like 20 or anything.
The most damage that Yes Man can do with Synergy is 7.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, exactly. It's nothing.
Like, honestly, Yes Men are the weakest Cogs in the game. Like, I'm dead serious. I think the most damage that they can do is 7 damage.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, at level 7.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty bad for as high of a level they can get.
Yeah, like they're ridiculously weak, and it's actually really kind of funny.
Throw that out. I mean, so it's like every boss spot either can only attack one toon, or in the rare exception, does very little to every toon. So I mean, it's like boss spots are weak, and you wouldn't think that. You wouldn't think that would be the case since they're the most advanced boss, but I mean, and Cellbots are the first boss. But yeah, it's kind of backwards.
Yeah, and it's funny because they're called boss bots anyway. You'd expect like, they're probably the strongest. Like,
nope.
look at them. Like, their name is literally Boss.
Oh, man, no.
Like, a boss in a video game is supposed to be stronger than all the rest.
Right. I'd say make boss bots more like. Make boss bots and Cellbots more like cash bots and law bots. More middle ground. Know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just because honestly, like, if you were to just kind of like even out both Cellbots,
like an average.
Fuck! I just threw it right at him and I put the safe on.
Like taking an average. Like say you have like 10 rank them from 1 to 10. Boss bots would be like a 4. Cellbots would be like a 10. Make them all a 7. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. Like cash bots and law bots are like a 7. I mean, that's kind of a bad example, but you get what I'm saying. Like make them average them out a little more. Make them all pretty similar.
Even in my opinion, if you were to just simply give the big cheeses the opportunity to use Power Trip, even that would even things out quite a bit, because you look at big cheeses and all they can do is glower power and tee off. Like, really, it's not that like flashy. I mean,
I feel like every last, like the 7th and 8th stage of the Cogs, they should all have a group attack, in my opinion.
Yeah,
because they're the big dogs. They're the ones you can only find in buildings and boss battles.
And you look at them, and honestly, like, the only ones who are like, I see, with the exception of Minglers, I see the level 7s as kind of the nuke, like the singular nuke Cogs. For example, like Loan Sharks have Chomp, which does 24. The Corporate Raiders, they have Evil Eye, which does 24. Legal Eagles have Pecking Order, that does 24. And Mingler is, like, way more powerful, having both Paradigm Shift and Power Trip, which I believe do 21 and 24 respectively at max level.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, where's the middle ground? Like, why is it that Cellbots are just so much, like, more strong? Especially looking at the fact that, like, you take a Mover and Shaker level 9, and it can do 21 damage to an entire team. Like, that is just pure bullshit.
And and a big cheese, it can do, what's the max it can do? Can it even do 24?
I think it can only do 21.
It can only do 20, so you got a level 6 Cellbot, and a level 8, not level, but stage 6 Cellbot, and a stage 8 boss bot, and they do the same damage. But the Cellbot, even still, the Cellbot can do it to every toon, whereas the big cheese can only do it to one. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, like, I feel like we're just kind of repeating ourselves at this point. And why won't this fucking safe hit him?
You have to. I don't know.
Oh well, no, I don't need to. I used to edit out swear words on my channel, but at this point, it's just like whatever. There we go, got him.
I'd say, and one other thing, we didn't, again, this week we didn't talk about this. I'm just kind of like going off the notes here, not off like off track from the notes, not from the notes. You know, maybe another thing they could do is not allow everyone to have access to 6 tracks. Maybe drop it down to 4 or 5. So then, I mean, that might get annoying. You wouldn't really be able to solo a whole lot, but it would also, it would make the game harder, and 2, it would put a higher influence on, you know, variety and like finding different tunes with different sets of gags and everything, so you can work together and accomplish things. I don't know. I mean, I've thought about that before, and I think that would, you know, I don't know if it might not be so popular at first, but I think it would be cool to like have that option. Of course, no one would pick it. I don't know. Maybe in like another game or something. I don't know. ToonTown rewritten too. I don't know, but I feel like
ToonTown hard mode.
ToonTown hard mode. There you go.
Something
I feel
like that shit.
I don't know. I feel like it would be cool. At least, I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah, but then again, in my opinion, I feel like that would just why will these fucking safes just like bounce off them? I think that would just kind of force everyone to be an Uber, kind of.
Well, not so much an Uber. Like, cause you'd have this like laugh, your laugh would be high up. I guess you would have to train a lot early on. At least it would force people to train. But I don't know. I just like the whole, you know, because a lot of times in other games you have your specialists, you know.
Yeah.
Your supports, your heavy hitters.
Reminds me of League of Legends when you say it like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't play League, but that's kind of where I was coming from. I don't know. I just think that would be kind of cool to at least give it a shot. I don't know. Maybe we'll create some Ubers or something and try it out, see how it goes. Or maybe we'll just have some high tunes and we'll just pick out 4 tracks and we'll get a video out and show you guys what that looks like.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna do that.
Alright, well, this video is getting pretty long, and if you guys have actually been watching me like do this CFO, I've been doing a horrible job. Literally, this is probably the reason why I haven't done any solos yet, because I'm so fucking bad at soloing. Yeah, anyway, do you have anything else to say or to add to this, as I just completely, like, get ruined?
I think that was it. That was all I had.
I feel you. So, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this up. Oh, yeah, I'm just gonna end the video off there. I was gonna finish this, but you know what? I'm just having horrible luck. So anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a nice night, and I'm gonna try to finish this up.
See you.
See you guys later.